10 and a flag. 10 with a flag, 10 and a flag. I don't know. 10. I should learn this movie's title. 10 with a flag is a short film that I was asked to screen, and yes, I guess I can't. Beggars can't be choosers. When I ask for screeners for films, and I don't specify, I guess I gotta start somewhere, right? So 10 with a Flag is not out, technically, for wide release, I believe. Even if it was, it would not, it's a 20-minute short film, so it would be wherever you find your short films. But the director, Vasco Alexander, sent me the film, and I was a little, I was a little trepidatious, honestly. But you know, when you have a ground campaign like that, you just gotta send it out. I was like, why am I? This is so random, but I watched it and it's actually pretty good. So, kudos to him. I don't know how he got to me, because he left it on my About page, which clearly talks about me being a blind film critic. So this film doesn't have audio description, so I don't really know what to do with that. Usually, I've been asked to review a couple things in the past that were shorts, like shorter shorts than this, that had some audio description on it, and I just haven't been like, do I need to click on this video? Like, is there, I don't know. This is at least of some length. It was adapted from a short story written apparently about 15 years ago, and actually the concept is really dope. I gotta say that if this short film makes it in front of, I don't know, studios or streaming services or something, I cannot imagine somebody wouldn't try to make this into a longer feature-length film, and flesh the whole thing out. It has so much potential. The concept here is very high, and Vasco Alexander does a lot with it in a short period of time. It almost feels like a proof of concept, coming from the guy who wrote the short story, because it highlights so well what his story could be if you were to use it in cinematic form, either as a TV limited series or an ongoing show or a movie or something. This has a fantastic concept. The concept is that it's set in a, I don't want to say dystopian future, because it's not really dystopian. It's just like an alternate reality, where we have the ability to tell our intellectual capacity of fetuses on a scale of 1 to 10. And 10 is like a perfect score, and they're rare. So this couple that are sixes, they find out that their baby is a 10. And there's a little bit of a hitch, though. It's 10 with a flag. And they're not really sure what that flag means. But the flag means that something is going to have to be sacrificed in order for this baby to live. And the doctor is super vague about it. And it kind of works that way, too, because you're like, what does it mean? And it leads you to sort of believe that it could mean anything. And I kind of like the way that this thing went, in terms of the ending of what the flag is. But it does. I thought at first that somebody was going to force this on me, and it was going to be some sort of like treatise on abortion, because it does talk about it, and that they would have to choose between taking the flag, taking the thing that you have to give up, or aborting the fetus, but they didn't know what the flag was. So they just kept going, and they went to a doctor's appointment, and the doctor's like, yep, everything looks great. I don't know. It's nothing to worry about. All I can say is it looks great right now. So that's one of the things where I feel like expanded, where you could add to the paranoia of the situation. since the flag is this question mark, works better than a short film. I think they did the most with it that they could if they were like limited to time. Like if this must be a 20-minute film in order to qualify for these festivals. If we go over 20 minutes, that's our flag and we get shot. But in limited context, it was a fine film. There are segments though, for me as a blind film critic, where I find it hard to like fully grade the film because it's just like music, and I don't know what's going on. So that made it a little bit challenging for me. But concept wise, yeah, I would be super excited to see this adapted into something of length, even if it was from the same director. Actually, I thought he did a pretty good job. He needs a better cast though. I gotta say, I'm sorry. I hate to bemoan people in short films because I know that they're like up and coming talent, and I gotta say the difference between the girl that plays Gemma, who actually felt, I don't know, felt something for her. Like I felt she was playing the mother that's carrying the child, and thought she actually did a nice job. I would love to see this film expanded more so that she could get into the paranoia herself and sort of start questioning what the flag is going to be. But Brian Moriarty, who plays the boyfriend, husband, I don't know if they're married. I think they're married. I got nothing out of him. I mean, he has the emotional equivalent of his paper. I don't know. He's probably watching this video and he's like, man, this guy's being really hard. And it's like, yeah, dude, please, if you are watching this, if this gets passed around with the team of Time of the Flag, I don't want to be mean to you, but it felt so restrained. There were scenes where like I wanted like Jesse Eisenberg, who's really good at like doing like paranoid stuff and really sort of getting outside of his head with that sort of like existential thought, which is where your character kind of goes. And this kind of felt, I didn't even know that you liked your wife. Like the connection, which is partially to blame for the way that the film starts and the script and everything, is that there's no establishment here. The film starts with like, I'm pregnant, and then he drops his spoon. It's like, I think perhaps we could have benefited more from just a little bit more dynamic between these two, even in a little bit more chit chat at the breakfast table. It doesn't even need to be a full scene, but holy shit, this movie just gets going really quickly, and it doesn't help Brian Moriarty because he doesn't feel connected to Gemma at all. His character doesn't feel connected to the girl at all, and even though he's talking about an increased level of paranoia, like it doesn't really get there for me until, I don't know, maybe he's, I guess, off screen at the point when I'm still trying not to ruin the end of this thing. It's 20 minutes. My review is going to be as long as this movie. But yeah, I'd peg him as the weak link. I thought the other doctors did a nice job. They were fine. The funny thing is, there's a point in the film where you guys are at a dinner party or something, or out in public, and there's like a crowd. That so totally sounds like canned crowd noise. It so totally sounded like you didn't actually have, you couldn't get extras, so you just played like canned crowd noise, which, you know, I guess in a short film, props. I mean, you probably shot this on like a really cheap budget and cool, but it didn't sound like anything relevant, and they weren't involved in it either. It was just like there's noise. There's just like canned chatter being played, and meanwhile our leads are just having like another conversation about their status, because this also reflects their status in the society. They get up to 8s simply for having a 10. So they get to have like a new house. Like society and everything is defined by intellectual uh, wealth, I guess you could say. So it's so totally an interesting concept, and I loved it. And the song choices were really they kind of worked. There's a lot that I liked about this film. It has like a 6 on IMDb. I feel like that's low, but especially considering it's a short film that didn't have the budget. I mean, what are you comparing it against? You know, like Oppenheimer. Like he didn't have the budget of Oppenheimer. Like what? So in the world of short films, yeah, I thought this was really good. So I just, if I was doing this again, or if I had the opportunity to shoot it longer or anything, I would not. I would recast. You got to find that connection, and that would be my only advice to Vasco as a director is if you can't see the connection between your actors, if you can't feel it, then in a film like this, when there's so few of them, and then you have these two that are supposed to be in it together, and they don't know what the flag is, it's got to be there. Otherwise, the movie doesn't work. And this one half of this couple that I'm supposed to be deeply invested in within 20 minutes just really had me at arm's length. So I hate to say it. Sorry, dude. He might be fine in other things, but there was zero connection between these two. And it came off making him look worse than it did her. So, but if you get a chance to watch Tem of the Flag at some point in your life, I think you should, especially if you like this kind of like sci-fi dystopian stuff. I think it's worth watching. I don't know that it's the greatest short film I've ever seen in my life. I wish it had audio description, but I'm going to be nice here, and instead of calling it unwatchable, which I do frequently for everything that doesn't have audio description, I know this film is still trying to bounce around and get a solid distribution deal, which is hard for short films. So I don't know what this financial state is in, but I'm going to guess this film doesn't have the budget right now to add audio description. I'm going to give that the benefit of the doubt, and I'm just going to grade this as a blind film critic could possibly grade this film. So 10 with a flag gets a B. I do think it's a solid effort. So anyway, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and thanks for clicking on this. I know nobody knew what this was, so if you are not with the film and you watch this and you're like, I want to know what 10 of the Flag is, good for you. And you can go to my website, macthemovieguy.com. You can follow me on X, Threads, or Instagram at macthemovieguy. You can go to the audio description project, adp.acb.org. It lets you know what does have audio description and where you can watch it. And you can go to the ADNA.org. That's the ADNA.org. And it'll let you know who is narrating your favorite films and television series. Perhaps Vasco will put the link to the film in the comments. I don't know. He seems like he might. But I'm not going to do it because it's not openly available. So you're just going to have to find it for yourself when it comes out. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the other side.